Hello, combobes. I am currently on holiday with my family in a hotel in a very, very warm place. I'm without any filming equipment, so I will be filming on my phone today. Apologies for the awful quality. So I'm taking a bit of a break now, but I spent the last few weeks preparing really, really hard for the Rent Strike weekend. And I have some footage from it, and I really wanted to show you and kind of tell you how it went, give a nice overview of everything and my own thoughts about it. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to do a really nice summary look that hopefully will stand through the heat, which I think is very necessary right now. All right, let's get right into it. So, what was the weekender for? I mean, for me, it was mainly training, obviously loads of that, meeting new people, sharing success stories, mainly just giving each other hope, When you start a new campaign, it's always really scary. And what we wanted to do was basically show that rent strikes actually work. I mean, we really believe in rent strikes as a tactic. It's a really, really effective one. And when it's done well, you can win loads of power back from your landlord. So activists who are trained, who have learned from previous successes, from previous mistakes, they're much more likely to actually run a campaign that wins. And for us, that means more rent cuts and the respect that we deserve. Okay, so I just applied. So first I washed my face. Obviously, my face was so greasy. Like, it's just, I mean, it's 37 degrees here. I can't really do anything about it. But I washed my face because it's really sweaty. And then I put a very, very light moisturizer. And then I also put a bit of tea tree water. It doesn't really matter where you find it, or tea tree oil, that's fine. But yeah, as I said in my previous videos, it's really like a lifesaver for me, so I wear it all the time. And then I moved on to counterintuitively putting a bit of glow cream on. So basically, not everywhere on my face, because this zone for me is really greasy all the time, so I really kind of avoid this zone. But on the tip of my cheeks here, on my nose, and on my cupid's bow, which are the parts that I want to shine, basically. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a really, really, really light skin tint on, just because I don't want to cover my face too much. But today we're going to do without powder, because I don't really like powder in the heat. I know I've been recommended to do basically foundation and a little powder on top, but for me, whenever I put powder on, anything that's set underneath runs whenever I sweat. So very, very light skin tint, and then my foundation as a concealer, just because it's light, or sorry, it's covering, but it's not too covering. So that's really good. But basically, in the summer, you want something really light, something that still makes you look, nice. So for me, the weekender was a real success. We had about 100 people come in total. We got really good feedback from it. A lot of people learned a lot, and they said that the atmosphere was really nice and wholesome, and that they felt really awoken and revitalized by the whole thing. Obviously, I was exhausted at the end, but still politically, I don't know, enthused, really excited for the future, really excited to see new campaigns pop up, but we'll talk about that later. Right, while all of this sets for a bit, I'm gonna do the eyes. I've been having some trouble actually with the eyes recently, just because, I don't know, my powder, when it gets really hot, my powders tend to not spread at all. They tend to just aggregate towards each other, and then as soon as I try to apply it on my eyes, it kind of just falls on my cheeks, which has been very annoying, but we'll still try to make something out of it. So another reason why we had the weekender was not just to get something, or like give something to people. As much as we don't know everything there is to know about campaigning and about activism in general. So we really wanted to get feedback and ideas on how to improve the rent strike campaign, especially with regards to intersectionality, because I think that, I mean, personally, when I joined the movement in 2016, you know, we weren't doing very well on it, and we're still not doing very well on it, if I have to give my humble opinion. But we really tried this weekender. So we had workshops on collective care, we had workshops on intersectionality, and we ran liberation caucuses, which are whatever marginalized identity you've been assigned to. So for instance, women, LGBT people, people of color, etc. We had caucuses where you could join up and meet for about an hour and talk about either your situation in renting as a person of that specific identity, or your position within activism and the kind of things that you face as a person of that identity again. And it was really nice and really productive to be a part of the sessions and just to see that they were running, if that makes sense. I mean, for me, it gives space and time for people who are usually marginalized in campaigns to self-organize, and it's been really good because we've learned a lot and we've collected a lot of notes from these caucuses, and hopefully soon, very soon, they'll be up on our website. If not already, I need to check. I've been on holiday, I've not been doing any activism. I also wanted to avoid, I wanted to collect the notes because I wanted to avoid these discussions kind of entering the activist oblivion, where a lot of amazing things get said into really, really special and important space, and then, you know, nothing really happens out of it. So I wanted to avoid that. The only time that we're going to be using powder is on the eyes. You take a little bit of your powdered highlighter, if you have any. I think liquid also works, but just like be more careful around the eye area with the liquid eyeliner, with the liquid highlighter. And you're going to take a little bit, and then you're just going to put it in the corner of your eye, like so. Don't know if you can see. On the top and on the bottom. And it really just makes the eye pop. It makes you look more awake, and it also covers a little bit of the discoloration that you have when you have bags under your eyes or shadows under your eyes. Alrighty, and following on, so I'm gonna take a bit of liquid eyebrow mascara, it's called. I find it very strange to be putting mascara on my eyebrows, but it's not really mascara, and it's really, really light. It's just a question of defining them a little bit more, and then like I'd say locking them up in a specific shape. I mean obviously I like this, but my eyebrows are quite thick and there's not that many holes in. So what did we achieve? I think we achieved a lot. I think we really went out of our way to make people feel comfortable, which I think, I mean in terms of like meta reflection on the state of activism today, I mean for me it was really, really important to make people feel welcome in a space that is meant to be for them, and not hurt, or whenever they were hurt, then the people who did that would be held accountable, for instance, which I think that we did quite well. Obviously, we helped train a lot of people, which was the primary intention behind it, and we've got about 3-4 new campaigns popping up across the country. A few have been revitalized. You know, people are getting ready, and now they know how to get ready, and they know how to prepare for when September comes and the freshers arrive, and it's all a bit, you know, more frantic. And I think that for me, I mean, coming back to the welcoming space and the friendliness of the movement, and the fact that, you know, justice and accountability and intersectionality are really put at the center of what we do, and care, obviously, always taking care of each other. I mean, for me, that was really, really important. from my experience of rent strikes, it's not that we didn't focus on care before, but we tried to portray an image of ourselves that was more fun and edgy and cool. You know, we were like the cool kids that people wanted to join in with. And now I think we've kind of moved away from that, and that's a really good thing for me, because as much as I want to make activism fun, as much as I want to make it, you know, as much as I want to turn demos into party and make freshers feel like it's not some boring drag to be involved in activism, I also think that you can't leave it there. You know, there has to be some sort of level of involvement where people don't kind of just take the piss, if that makes sense. And for me, approaching it as something more wholesome and something more welcoming than fun, I think, is really important. I was talking about this with a friend. She was like, I mean, there are some parts of activism that are always going to be a bore, you know? Messaging 500 people for them to join in on your demo or on your meeting. It's always going to be boring. But there are some aspects of activism that are much more than just fun. They're interesting. They're gripping. They're, you know, fulfilling in a different way than your normal life is, and they're responding to a different desire that's not necessarily to be entertained. Although this has this doesn't seem like this has anything to do with rent strikes, but for me that's really important, because I want this movement to not only be a really successful set of campaigns and a really successful network of people who understand each other and who fight with each other. I also want it to be a place where we can reinvent what doing activism means. And from that, I learned a lot from Sisters Uncut. I learned a lot from other activist groups that I was involved in. The aspect of comrades first, I think, is really, really important. And I want to project that much more. Does that make sense? And finally, the most important step when you're about to step out into 37 degrees, setting spray. You don't have to get anything expensive, but I mean, it's kind of a lifesaver, to be honest. Put on a load. Go for it. Alright, let me show you how it looks. Bam! Oh, it's cute! Oh, not my suitcase. You don't need to see my suitcase. I like it. It's really nice and shimmery. Anyway, yeah, for me the Weekender was a real success, and I'm really proud to have organized it, and I'm really, really proud to have been a part of it. And I'm sorry that loads of you could probably not make it, but hopefully we'll have a day of action in October, and we're going to have meetups in the winter, and then hopefully another Weekender next year, depending on how well we recover from this one. But yeah, if you want to join in, you're always, always very welcome. As per usual, all the details for the Rent Strike group, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, everything that you need are on the bottom in the description box below. Obviously, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all very soon. Bye, con babes.